Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1938 mystery thriller The Lady Vanishes.
Wasting my time to fill us an ignorance.
Hey, whoa, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to waste your time. I'm just trying to review every movie in this book, The 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. The Lady Vanishes is directed by Alfred Hitchcock, who is my personal favorite director of all time. It stars Margaret Lockwood as Iris, Michael Redgrave as Gilbert, and May Whitty as Miss Froy. This has, I would say, a critic consensus that's in it. It is in his top 15 best movies of all time. Some have it in his top 10 best movies of all time. It's one of Hitchcock's most important early thriller films. It is one of the biggest contributors in how it perfects the Hitchcock suspense formula. A woman who disappears on a train and no one else seems to remember her turns an ordinary setting into something unsettling, which is something he does a lot. If you take like the movie The Birds, you just have a normal setting of birds that becomes incredibly horrific. You have the same thing with Rear Window, the same thing with Rope. He does a really good job of taking just ordinary things and making it terrifying. It builds tension through uncertainty, paranoia, and perspective techniques that he would later refine. It's important for the ordinary person in danger concept. The protagonist is a regular person / traveler, and this becomes a Hitchcock trademark. It's a blend of humor and suspense. Unlike many thrillers of the time, the film mixes light comedy and real danger. It reflects the late 1930s atmosphere in Europe. Beneath the mystery is a sense of pre-World War II tension with themes of espionage, hidden identities, and distrust across borders. This was Hitchcock's last British film before moving to Hollywood. When this movie opens up, we are introduced to a woman named Iris. Actually, there's a whole cast of characters here that we're introduced to, but the main character is going to be Iris. She is a young woman who is on her way to get married, and this entire train of people who are trying to get to their destination is stopped because of an avalanche, so they have to spend the night at a hotel. Now, the hotel is completely booked up. A lot of these people don't get the rooms that they want. There's two British people who are very insistent on getting home to see this cricket match. They kind of represent the comedic relief in this film. They are incredibly funny, but they have to share their room with it's like the maid's quarters, and they have to share this room with the maid. So anyway, they're all basically put out by the fact that they can't get to where they need to go, and they have to spend their night at a hotel. Now, while they're spending the night at the hotel, Iris, she is underneath the room above her has Gilbert in it, and he is someone who plays the clarinet, and he plays the clarinet for folk dancers, and they are making just a ton of racket, and she can't sleep. So she calls and complains, and the person who runs the hotel goes up and says that there's a complaint for noise. Now, Gilbert doesn't care. He rushes the guy out and says, I can do whatever I want. This is my hotel room. I can make all the noise I want to. Get out of my room, basically. And then he goes downstairs to where Iris is, and he says, oh, this room's a lot better. I think I'll stay here with you. I don't really understand this part, why he thinks that he could stay with her, and she doesn't really push back on it that much. But the next day, they're able to all leave. Now, Iris runs into this older woman named Miss Froy. Miss Froy drops her glasses, and Iris goes to pick him up, and when she does, there's this boulder rock type of thing that someone pushes off a building and hits Iris right in the head, to where she's kind of woozy and she's seeing double, and things are not going very well for her. When they get Iris back to the car, this older woman, Miss Froy, takes her to get some tea. Now, Miss Froy is very particular about the kind of tea that she drinks, which comes into play later, and this is very important later. She brings her own tea bag, and she has the staff of the train, put her tea together with the tea bag that she brings. So later in the movie, they go back to their carts. Miss Froy is in the same car in the train as Iris, and she tells Iris to take a nap since Iris got hit on the head and she's a little bit woozy. So Iris takes a nap, and when she wakes up, Miss Froy's not there anymore. And she starts asking about Miss Froy. Oh, where'd she go? Where did my friend go? And everyone says that they have no idea what she's talking about, and they did not see anyone who matches the description of Miss Froy that she is giving. So what happened to Miss Froy? Did she ever exist? We're going to find out, right? So Gilbert, who was the one who was annoying to Iris, it says that he'll help. He'll help look for her, and he wants to try to help her find her. So they start looking around. They start asking questions. There's a doctor on board who says that he thinks that this is like a hallucination that she had, and that she hit her head really bad. Her head really got hurt by that rock, and she was just making all this up in her head. There's other things where he thinks that she saw someone else and she gave these attributes to this other person. Basically, he thinks that this is all happening in her head because of this this blow that she got to her head, and that this person didn't actually exist. There's other people on the train who actually saw Miss Froy. The two British people who want to get to that cricket match, they are pretending like they don't know what she's talking about, and they never saw her because they don't want the train to stop. They don't want any type of investigation to happen. They don't want anything to stop them from getting to this cricket match. So they're just pretending that they don't know what's going on because they want everything to go smoothly, and they just want to get to this cricket match. There's another guy on the train who saw Miss Froy, but I think he's not saying anything because he's there with another woman and he doesn't want to get caught like with another woman while he's on the train. So basically everyone is pretending or saying that they don't know who this woman is. And Iris is desperately trying to find her, do everything that she can to find her. Gilbert at first believes it, but then as time goes on, he starts to maybe disbelieve that this actually happened, until he's having... Eventually, Iris just also believes that she never saw this person. Now, Iris will return to her car, and there'll be another woman sitting where Miss Froy was sitting, who's dressed in the exact same clothes as Miss Froy, but she's much younger and she's not the same person. And this woman will say that she is that person. She is Miss Froy. And the doctor will be like, oh, see, this is the woman that you actually helped, but when you got that blow on the head, you gave different attributes to her. You made her look very different than what she is, but there she is right there. So Iris will start to believe herself that she did not actually see the person that she thought she did. This all comes to a head when Gilbert is drinking tea, and as he's drinking tea, the guy who runs like the meal part of the train, who serves the food, he dumps out a bunch of garbage, and on the window sticks this tea packet that Miss Froy used. And he said, well, that's the only person who would have used that tea packet. So she definitely saw Miss Froy. She's not misremembering anything. This is something that happened, and she's telling the truth, and she's not actually, everyone's lying to her, basically. So Gilbert goes up to Iris, and he says, look, you actually saw her. Here's the proof. I saw the tea bag type of thing. And then they start to guess as to what could happen. Now, earlier, they stopped the train, and the doctor had a patient come on board. This was a patient who was like supposed to be badly burned or something. She has all these scarves wrapped around her face, and so this was the only time that the train stopped where they could get someone on or someone off. So they're trying to think of how someone could have gotten on the train or off the train without anyone noticing. They were looking out the windows the entire time the train was stopped. They only saw this woman get on with a stretcher, and in the room, there's a nun who's supposed to be a mute. This is the room with the girl who just came in on the stretcher. There's a nun who's watching after her, and she's supposed to be a mute nun, but she's wearing high heels. And they're like, nuns don't wear high heels. So why is this nun wearing high heels? Who is this mystery woman who was just bought onto the train? Is there any connection between her and Miss Froy? Where did Miss Froy go? Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail as to where Miss Froy is or what happened to her. Alfred Hitchcock, to me, is someone who does endings very well. This guy just knows how to end a movie. At the end of the film, we have a shootout. We have a daring train type of a guy going out the window, Gilbert going out the window and moving across the train. The cinematography is absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, you have the shootout. You have... You have a tune. There's this spy who has this tune in her head, and that tune is supposed to alert the authorities that something's going on. So you have a lot of moving parts at the end of the film. Everything really comes together. It's really fast at the end of the film. And then the last scene at the end of the film really brings everything together, and it really makes this movie. It is so fantastic. Someone you thought wasn't alive anymore ends up being alive, and I mean, you stand up and cheer basically at the end of this film. The ending is phenomenal. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of Alfred Hitchcock movies on this list. A lot of them will probably be in the 1950s. So far, it's just been this and Blackmail, and I think that this is just such a better movie, although I did like Blackmail. But there's so much tension. It's on the edge of your seat, especially like the last 15, 20 minutes. You're on the edge of your seat in this film. The side characters are funny. They're absolutely amazing. The story works. It's actually believable with what happened with this woman and how they were able to get her on a train. Now, I'm not sure it's believable that all these people have so much going on in their lives that they don't want to admit that they know who this person is, or that they want to admit that they saw this person. You know, maybe it is. It's a lot of coincidences here. But I think it all works. And like I said, the side characters are really good. The shootout at the end of the movie is very good. I just really enjoyed it. I love the tension. The tension building, and then the end of the movie has a really awesome payoff. I thought that Michael Redgrave and Margaret Lockwood had really good chemistry together. At first, I really hated Gilbert's character. I thought he was just kind of a sleazy character. But then obviously as the movie goes on, he becomes part of the hero. He becomes the only one who believes in Iris, the only one who will help her. And then Iris is the only one who's willing to help Miss Froy, the only one who's able to fight for her, to figure out what happened to her, to try to save her from whatever's going on. And I think it's a really just fantastic film. I think it is probably... I've never ranked Alfred Hitchcock films. I haven't seen all of his films, but in the ones that I've seen, this is probably at least a top 10, top 15 for me. I really think that this is an excellent film. Everything he does on a train is fantastic. My favorite movie of his is Strangers on a Train. So everything he does on a train is great. Even the end of Laura, there's a train scene. He just does a lot of train stuff. But this movie is great. The ending will have you guessing. At the very end of the movie, with the last scene, is not something that I could have guessed would ever happen. It was a total shock. It was a total surprise. I really thought that it wasn't going to end the way it did. I thought that there was going to be something that was going to happen that was going to stop the happy ending. I thought there was going to be something that was going to just ruin everything, but it actually was fantastic. I love this movie. I give it a 9 out of 10. I just think it's really good. Everything about it is great. I hope you join me next time when I review, I think it's called Wuthering Heights from 1939, not the new one. And this is the last movie from 1938, and obviously the next year will be 1939. 1939 is very historically important, and it's critically acclaimed for being the best year ever in movie history. You have Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. You have The Wizard of Oz. There's just a lot of movies that came out in 1939 that critics think it was the greatest year in the history of cinema, and that's the one that's coming up next. I've already given a lot of 10s to the 1930s. I'm really worried that I'm giving too many 10s and that every movie from 1939 is going to be a 10 out of 10, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Anyway, this is a 9 out of 10. I hope you join me next time for Wuthering Heights. Thank you. Have a great day.